either way, when you look at either Netflix or when you look at Paramount Skydance, then if you add Warner Brothers to the mix, there are concerns that either one could be a monopoly. I mean, how big of a factor is that? And is that going to be a hindrance for either Paramount or Netflix?
For sure. Yes, there will be a very, very intense regulatory review of this deal. We already have seen, Hollywood guilds coming out and saying it must be blocked. We've seen senators like, um, from across the aisle saying that this is a monopolistic, classic case of monopoly or a monopolistic nightmare in the case of Senator Warren. So I think that the kind of conspiracy theory that Netflix would only put this forward to freeze Warner Brothers and the Ellisons for 2 years and they don't have any expectation to go through is that there's just no way you would go through the amount of scrutiny that they're going to face over the next year or two just to then pay $5.8 billion breakup fee and do it as kind of like a gamesmanship. Now, I think clearly, Netflix sees value in adding the Warner Brothers assets and operation to their own. It would be a transformational deal for Netflix. But from a regulatory standpoint, yes, you're combining the number one streaming service with over 300 million subscribers to the number three or four, depending on what metric you use, streaming service in HBO Max, which is kind of like a classic monopoly. If the number one and the number three companies in any industry get together, that's going to raise some red flags. Of course, they would say that the combined company would only then be equal to YouTube, and they're kind of redefining the market about what digital video means. However, YouTube is in a different kind of business. Again, depending on what lens regulators choose to use here. Obviously, they're in a more user-generated content industry as opposed to the premium content of a Netflix or a Warner Brothers. I think from the industry standpoint, it didn't matter who bought these assets. There was going to be consolidation, meaning job loss, and meaning fewer buyers in the marketplace for content, which ultimately will drive prices down on the buy side if you're trying to sell a movie or a TV show. And more than likely, when there's consolidation, there'll be, a price increase on the consumer side for a program like Netflix, or if HBO becomes, a premium add-on to Netflix or something like that. Now, both sides are saying it's a pro-consumer, pro-worker deal. Of course, they would say that, but I think the consolidation is going to be tough for the entertainment industry, no matter how it ends up.
You're on the West Coast, Matt. I'm curious, what is Hollywood saying about this? Are they excited about this? I mean, you used the term job loss. Does merger automatically mean layoffs? We saw that with Paramount. I mean, what are they saying?
No, there will definitely be job loss. You can kind of read between the lines and see it when Netflix says there will only be $2 billion in cost efficiencies, and Paramount says we have $6 billion in synergies. I mean, when you use language like that, what you're saying is, we have two people doing the same thing and we're going to fire one. That's exactly what happened when Skydance took over Paramount. 2,000 layoffs, $2 billion in cost cuts. No matter if Comcast, if Netflix, or if Paramount had won this bid, there would be layoffs at Warner Brothers Discovery. The entertainment industry is just contracting right now, and that's kind of the reality of it. It's not a very optimistic landscape looking forward in the next 1 to 3 years. We don't know with something as just disruptive as like artificial intelligence as well, like what that landscape might look like in 3 years. Which again, if this deal is being going through regulation for 2 to 3 years, it could emerge out on the other side into a very different entertainment landscape than we have right now. But there's a reason why the Writers Guild, the Directors Guild, the Actors Guild are all putting out statements saying that this deal needs to be looked at long and hard. Writers Guild said that it must be blocked. Why you have filmmakers like James Cameron saying that Netflix takeover of Warner Brothers would be a disaster because they have said multiple times on the record that they don't believe in the theatrical business model. And of course, they're promising that they would keep movies in theaters for as long as they're probably legally obligated to. But then after that, they would be revisiting strategy down the road. So I think that, again, the outlook is not incredibly optimistic at the moment.